Shalom, 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 yasha'Allah. This your boy, Brother Shamuel Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called, Thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who have ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right, like I said, today's lesson is going to be called, Thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Right, and I had this article. It's from Popular Mechanics. It says 160 people wanted to be buried in space. Their capsule slammed into the ocean instead. So it says a spacecraft called NYX capsule recently crashed in the Pacific Ocean after the landing parachutes failed to deploy. It says the capsule carried cargo including cannabis and human remains, all of which were lost in the crash. After apologizing to the families who lost their loved ones' remains, the company responsible for the spacecraft said this partial success should serve as an important learning opportunity for future reusable space flight missions. It says, as part of a rideshare mission with SpaceX, the NYX capsule launched from the Vandenberg Space Force base on June 23rd. It says the next day, after successfully re-entering the atmosphere on June 24th, the capsule crashed into the Pacific Ocean and lost some unexpected cargo, cannabis, and human remains. It says the NYX capsule and its launch was part of the program Mission Possible, led by German startup called the Exploration Company, or the TEC. It says the launch marks TEC's second spacecraft to reach orbit in under 4 years. It says now the cannabis plant matter. It says seeds weren't for recreational use. They were part of an open source citizen science project called Martian Grow. The project seeks to understand the effects of microgravity in germination and resilience, potentially shedding light on how life could survive in a non-terrestrial environment. It says the human remains, however, were on the capsule for a much more wholesome reason, to memorialize loved ones. Celestis, a Texas-based tribute company, provided ashes from over 160 deceased individuals to make the trip into space. Sadly, this is not the first time Celestis lost a payload. It says the first began in 2023 when a rocket carrying a late NASA astronauts, it says, ashes exploded over New Mexico. It says, we apologize to all our clients who entrusted us with their payloads. TEC wrote in a statement, we thank our team for their hard work and their dedication to success. We have been pushing boundaries in record time and costs. This partial success reflects both ambition and the inherent risk of innovation, leveraging the technical milestones achieved yesterday and the lessons we will exact from our ongoing investigation. We will then prepare to refly as soon as possible. It says the founder and CEO of TSC, Helene Hubie, also apologized for the loss of cargo, suggesting the mission is something the space tech space tech world can grow from. We all hope for a success. Partial success is often part of the road for those who take risks and push boundaries to change the world positively, she said in a press release. I take full responsibility and present my apologies to our customers for not achieving full success. It says TEC explained in the press release that the spacecraft crashed because the landing parachute failed to deploy. In the same release, the company stated that the parachute system wasn't drop tested, a risk that lower cost, shorten development time, and yield a deeper understanding to the vehicle with each flight. According to TEC, the parachute module previously been used on SpaceX Dragon. According to TEC, the recent setback won't stop their mission. In fact, it's only helped progress. We are continuing our journey, eager to implement these learnings in our next vehicle. Hubby said in the press release, we will learn from our mission, possibly, and improve together as a team. I express my profound gratitude to the exploration company's team members who are demonstrating outstanding solidarity, resilience, and commitment to the success of our mission. Well, I mean, it didn't pan out like you said, like you wanted to, right? And when I saw this on another, maybe on YouTube or something, they had it where you saw it kind of, crash or whatever. But, just a couple of precepts that kind of came to my mind. I just want to get them real quick, so Lord's will. This is edifying. All right. Let's go with this. Is the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. It says, whereas Edom saith, right? Edom, talking about the so-called white man, right? Starting with those top banking families on down. All right. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Right. And that's the thing, right? Well, we're going to continue to build. Yeah, it wasn't, and the thing about it, she didn't say that, we failed the family. She just said, well, my apologies for the partial success, because it was partially successful, but it wasn't successful because you didn't achieve it. All right. But, that's the pride of, Esau, Edom. Right. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahawah Bahasham have indignation forever. Okay? And ultimately, this was the Yahawah Bahasham doing. All right? He knocked that thing down. All right? He knocked it down. All right? They always want to, trying to outshow and do different things, right? Let's get the book of Isaiah 14, and let's go to verse number 13, right? Isaiah 14 and 13, it says, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Okay, and this is talking about the king of Babylon, right? But ultimately, right, it's, Esau, Edom, okay? At the end of the day, they want to try to exalt themselves and put themselves, at the top, and the Lord is throwing their stuff down, man. All right. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. All right. And the Lord threw that capsule down into the ocean, man, with your little people who, not even your people, right? Remains, right? With human remains, right? The Lord threw that stuff out of there, man. Esau, will try to do anything, and he'll try to, pollute everything, even the space, as you see. All right. He'll try to put capsules and weed out in space. All right. But the Lord threw it down. Okay. The Lord threw that shit down. Let's go to Obadiah, right? Obadiah 3. Let's start at verse 3. Yep. It says, the pride of thy heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? All right. And they're thinking, hey, well, we're going to try to rebuild. We're going to take this and we're going to rebuild. We're going to try to go out there again. Right. So that's their whole mentality. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahawah Bahasham. Right? You keep trying to come up in the space, right, and doing these different things, and the Lord is, tossing your shit right back down to the earth, man. Right? You're not gonna escape, right? Esau, what they want to do is they're trying to see how far they can get because they want to try to escape out of here, right? They've trashed the earth, right? They've polluted everything, right? Rape, robbed, murdered, killed everything, and now they want to try to escape and go somewhere else and try to do it again in another place, another planet, right? The Lord is not having that. All right. So they try to build their stuff in the heavens, right? In the stars, right? But the Lord is throwing that stuff down. Okay. The Lord is throwing it down. All right. So it says, though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahawah Bahasham. All right. Whatever Esau tries to do, right? The Lord is just tossing that stuff down, man. Right? You try to rebuild, the Lord is going to tear it down again. All right? Everything that you do, right? Because you are, the border of wickedness, whom Yahawah Bahasham has an indignation forever. All right? Let's get that. Ezekiel, what is that? Is it 35? No, Salakia, that was Malachi, I believe. Let me just go back to it. Malachi 1 and 4. It says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahawah Bahasham of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahawah Bahasham have indignation forever. Okay? There's nothing they can do. All right? The scriptures say that, what is that? Hosea 1. Oh no, Salakia. Is it Amos 1? Yep. Amos chapter 1, verse 11, it says, thus saith Yahawah Bahasham, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, right? Talking about Jacob, right? Or, the Israelites, okay? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, okay? It says, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Okay, and we know that, Esau didn't kill Jacob, right? But he had that indignation in his heart, all right? And his seed, right? The Edomites, right? They've kept that perpetual hatred, right? Against Jacob, all right? And we see it even yet to this day, right? It says, and it's kept, and his anger did tear perpetually, all right? Or continuously, and he kept his wrath forever. It says, but I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra. All right. But, the point that I wanted to get was, the Lord has, indignation for them forever. All right. Because what? And he will not turn away the punishment thereof. All right. So though you try to build, the Lord is going to throw down. right? You try to exalt yourself above the stars, the Lord is going to throw you down, all right? Just as you want to have everybody sea-hipped, all right? The Lord eventually is going to spoil all your plans, all right? All right, so I just wanted to do this quick lesson. Like I say, Lord's will, this was edifying. Right with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Almighty Shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who have ruled well to the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect out there. Stay diligent, stay focused, keep praying for one another, right? And when we say a ball, all right, we're gonna remember what Edom did, all right. And the Lord has not forgotten, right? And every time they build, the Lord throws it down, all right. Call Yahawah by Yahawashi. All right. So with that, I say a ball, shalom.